Hey guys, I'm back today. I actually took a little bit of time yesterday during my workday and then finished up this morning. I have today off, so that's why I'm actually on making a video. So I thought, what a great time to make a great topic video. I was watching, is the recording of the live stream, and it was a very interesting topic that I really wanted to share my thoughts on. So I'm not going to mention, the channel that she may not want to have her name mentioned, but this channel was talking about confidence, having confidence in the reborn world as an artist. Is it a bad thing? What's wrong with it? That type of thing. Because I believe there was some criticism from a couple of channels based on, the artwork she's putting out. And then it got on the topic of, through this, having confidence about master artists, prototype artists. How does one actually get those titles? And I have I've seen the history of how artists have become, accredited over the years. And so I wanted to just share my take on it because it might shed some light on what I've seen over the years. And yes, I know I'm not an artist, but I have watched artists grow. I've watched a lot of collectors turned into artists over the years. I've just watched a lot of different varying artists come into our community. I've also known many of the, very early artists that are still creating, that are still around, but they just don't, you don't see them as much on social media and things like that. But, I just want to talk about it and having confidence in how to become a master artist and how did this all come about? Like, how does one go about it? So, first off, I want to say that there's nothing wrong with an artist having confidence in themselves. That's really like the first step in my eyes to becoming successful. If you have confidence in yourself, that's the base. That's your foundation. If you don't have confidence in yourself, who else will? And that doesn't mean that artists are not their worst, their worst critiques and critics, and they scrutinize their work and they're hardest on themselves. It has nothing to do with having confidence. It really doesn't. I think it's not cool in my eyes to put other artists down. Even if you don't care for their work, I don't think it's necessary to put an artist down. One, artists are always learning. They're always trying to better themselves. They're always trying to put out their best work. They put their heart and soul into it. And, majority of artists are in it for the right reasons. It's because they love the hobby. They love the artwork. They love babies. They love bringing those to life and being able to share that with the community and for collectors to purchase. That's how it should be. But even if you don't care for a particular artist's work, like I have my particular favorites, I always have. It's a certain style that I really, enjoy. And that's the joy of it. Let's face it, if we all like the same things, there would never be enough dolls to go around. So my point in sharing that is that everybody has their own preference on what suits them, what really, really stands out and what they absolutely love in sculpts. How they like their painting done, style of sculpts, many things factor into what someone will fall in love with a reborn, a finished silicone doll. There's just a lot to it. It is actually quite tricky to find the perfect baby. Some people I know for years have just never found that one that really was one that they thought was a forever baby. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's all about figuring out the style in which you like. And then once you find the style you like, you'll notice that a lot of seasoned collectors will tend to continue to buy on a regular basis only from their favorite artists, which is fine. I have done the same thing. But it doesn't mean that there's not other really talented artists out there in the doll community. Like, there's tons of really, really talented people it just may not be, you know, the style of painting that I like or love or whatever. It's just, there are varying types of styles of artistry. And there are plenty of collectors out there in which that will love and buy them and, you know, continue to buy from them and support them as an artist. And I think that's wonderful. So if there are other artists and channels of certain sizes out there that are, you know, putting down other artists that might be newer than them, I think it's unnecessary. I think it's really too bad that you can't just be supportive of other artists. Whether you like their work or not doesn't really matter. But I think that the type of community that we are is that, you know, support the artists, because it only gives all of us collectors more beautiful dolls to collect. And I think that there's, like I said, plenty of dolly dollars to go around for all artists. And I mentioned this when I commented on this person's live stream video, that I think there's always been a shortage, especially a shortage of artists, really good artists out there, because artists are always overworked. They're always really booked up. You know, once someone gets favored by somebody or becomes a prototype artist, you know, you can never actually get a doll from them. They stop doing customs. You can see the trend in how it happens once they become super popular or recognized. So to me, I think the more artists that are talented that are coming into our community, the better. It's only going to help us, for those of us that want to continue to collect. You know, more dolls, more beautiful dolls is really what we're after. And seeing a variety of work is what it's all about. So that's the beginning of my chat. I'm just quickly going to interrupt myself to let you know that I'm changing Monroe into a sleeper. It's going to rain this afternoon. It's warm, but she's been in this for a few days, so I want to take her out of this. This is a really sweet, jackety romper. But I want to put her in this next sleeper, which has cute little fairies all over it. I love it. So I'm going to continue to talk while I change her. But here's the thing. Here's what I also want to talk about. How does one become a master artist? How does one become a prototype artist? And my take may be very different from newer collectors, newer artists, because I've seen back in the very early days how people went about this and how it even came to be. You know, there used to be doll guilds. There used to be doll groups, that there were doll magazines that would put together accreditations for different doll artists, you know, because they wanted the really good ones. You know, there was competitions, but it was done through photographing. It wasn't done at a live doll show. So it wasn't like you had to go to the Rose Doll Show in order to be entered into a competition or, you know, that sort of thing. It was always done like online. You submit your photos, close-up photos of your work, and then those doll guilds or groups or even magazines would then have their people judge and award them as they saw fit. And that is a lot of how early artists became accredited. It's what I saw happening. It was, you know, far before we had doll shows, actually, especially in the U.S., that you could actually go to. It didn't occur here for a long time. And so over the years, I've watched that change, though. I don't, honestly, all these guilds and all these, you know, I don't know who dubbed the term master artist. I'm not sure where that came about, to be honest with you. I think I started noticing it on a lot of artists' prototype work. And my opinion is that someone made it up and thought that they would look better in their eBay sales to credit themselves as a master artist because they do prototype work and they may have been accredited by one of the doll guilds or doll associations or doll groups. And that's fine, but is it truly something that the doll community dubbed, like you meet this certain criteria and then you become a master doll artist? No, I don't think that's ever been the case, quite honestly. I've never heard about it. And so maybe others out there that see this video will be able to maybe shed some light. If you know of the process, if it's an official doll community process, I'd love to hear about it, because I've seen too many artists that I definitely have not seen them with awards of certain types, but they're still dubbing themselves and naming themselves as a master artist. And prototype artists. So it is a goal of most artists, because just like this artist had shared in her video, in her live stream, Jen had stated that it's a lot of artists' goals. Because what it does is it actually is, you get picked by an artist. They want you to put your spin on it, bring to life their kit, so that it helps sell their dolls. It also means the pictures of your work goes up on big doll kit sites. All the sites in the stores that sell those kits, that's where the pictures of your work will be. So therefore your name gets out there. It's also great to say that you do prototype work. You paint for artists and you're sought after. There's a whole status involved, right? And that's wonderful. However, the one thing I will tell you about prototype artists is that they're kind of like, we have our favorite artists. I have found that most sculptors and kit creators have their favorite artists that they know they like the style of their work, so it's very hard to get your foot in the door, so to speak. They like how sales have gone with previous artists that have done those prototypes, so they tend to stick with people they know. And I think a lot of people that have been chosen to do prototype work, it's really a lot of they were in the right place at the right time, or the artist saw their eBay auctions or their doll sales that they're very popular, and they see that a lot of collectors really like that artist's work, so that's why they choose them to create a prototype. But I do think a lot of it is just right place at the right time. I think that's a huge part of it. And also, some artists that have been around that have a really solid reputation for producing doll after doll after doll of a specific quality of work, so to speak. They know that they can rely on them to produce the next prototype that they have in the same high quality, that's going to be sought after, that will help sell their dolls. So I think that's a lot of it as well. So it's hard to kind of break through that we use the same people, because you'll notice that a lot of artists, they will use the same people. Occasionally you'll see them use newer people, but for the most part, I think that they have their favorites. And I totally understand that, but I also understand that it's got to be very frustrating for newer artists that want to get to that level, right? You want to be able to be, sought after prototype artists. I think that's most artists' goals, and I think that's a great goal to have. However, I think it takes some people more time than others to kind of be able to get to that level. I think that it's great that if you keep working towards it and you know that that's your ultimate goal, I think that's wonderful. And most people that, it might take like one doll that you put out there that suddenly everybody notices, and then you may be noticed by the kit's creator, or, if it's a silicone kit or a reborn kit, and then suddenly, okay, now they're recognizing your work. To me, it just is like, once it's recognized, once they see your work, once they see that you produce high quality work, then you're more likely to be asked in the future to create a prototype for them. So I say to those artists that are newer, that haven't gotten to where they want to go yet, continue doing your best work and putting it out there. And, take the constructive criticism, soak it in, learn from it, and continue to put out great work. That is really the best thing you can do. And if others don't like your work, don't worry about it. I would never let that get you down, because like I said, everybody has their own opinion of what they consider to be, the highest quality, prettiest doll. Like, we all have differences on how we view that to be. And, Monroe's a great example of that. There's a lot of people that really love her, and there's a lot of people that really just don't care for her. It's not their cup of tea, and that is absolutely fine with me. Doesn't bother me any, because it only matters to me how I feel about her. And that's the same with any doll. It doesn't matter whether it's silicone. It doesn't matter whether it's a reborn, a vinyl reborn. It doesn't matter if it's a clay baby. Each person has their own preferences to what they love and what they enjoy and what really speaks to them. But like I said in the beginning of my video, it's what makes the world go round. It's what makes the doll community continue to grow, is that there's just such a wide range of different types of artistry being put out there that, you know, there's lots to choose from, and you don't know what you love until you experience it sometimes. And sometimes the thing you thought you wouldn't love, or the style of painting that wouldn't be what you would enjoy, you decide you really like down the road because you tried it. Some of my most favorite dolls, most would say, oh, I don't get it. I don't really see what you see in them. And then others have been really popular dolls. I'm one that kind of goes for, you know, not the most sought after dolls. I've always been that way. The most popular kits are not the ones that I would buy. So my point in all of this, and the takeaway from me talking about this, really is that there's so much doll love and appreciation to go around in our community. There's no reason to ever put down someone else's work. You know, if you're trying to help someone and you want to give them constructive feedback, I don't say criticism, because I think feedback would be a smarter way to put it. Because if someone's truly helping you, they're going to say, well, this is what maybe you might want to focus on, or whatever. The difference is that we have, you know, artists and collectors out there that feel the need to criticize or put down others' work for whatever reason. It's just unnecessary. I don't understand it. I never will. I'm really a proponent of, you know, lifting those up, lifting others up. You know, we're in a type of hobby where, you know, it's supposed to be the love of babies, you know, bringing these dolls to life that look like living babies. You know, it's what we love about them. Ultimately, I think that, you know, you'll find out who's supportive, who you want to share your work with, and who maybe just to avoid and to ignore. I think that it's the sad truth of, you know, how our community is these days. I think you have the gamut of types of people that you will encounter, and there's always going to be someone out there that thinks their work is better than yours, and yada, yada, yada. But if you stay on track and continue to do the you know, create good work, create work from the heart, and continue just growing your business, you'll get there. I think that there's room for all artists to really thrive and be successful in our doll community. So to me, in my mind, the more the merrier. And even though I'm not an artist, I am a consumer of the product. So of course, you know, I think that the more we have to choose from, the more variety of types of painting, the more people will find their dream dolls. I think it's just, it all works together, and I think it's wonderful. And I think that if more people thought of it that way, instead of it being a competitive thing, because I think artists sometimes look at it as that if there's another up and coming artist, it's going to take away money out of my pocket type of thing. I don't think that would be the case. I think that there's room for all artists to be successful, especially with our growing community. Like, let's face it, the number of people in our doll community these days, it's just phenomenal numbers. I never would have dreamt that it would be such a huge hobby and so many people in it. Trust me, there's plenty of people out there, collectors that want to buy the work. So all of you newer artists, stay at it. Keep doing what you love. Put out your good work. People will notice you. It just takes time. And as far as getting accredited, I don't know if that really holds water in my mind. I think that people they label themselves as master artists. Once you start being able to call yourself a prototype artist, once you've done a prototype, then, you know, you can, you know, maybe look into how do I get accredited without having to go to the Rose Doll Show. There's got to be more out there. There used to be. I'm a little out of the loop on that because I'm not an artist. But I would look into the different accreditations for doll artists. You might be able to do these competitions online, submitting your photos, you know, and being judged and getting awarded in that way. So just something to think about for those artists out there that are interested in getting accredited. Yeah, that's my take on it. I wish the most success for all artists out there. I never will be the person to put down any artist's work. I think that every artist, like I said, puts their heart and soul into it. And we're the lucky ones that get to reap the rewards and benefits of those wonderful artists.
So yeah, the more the merrier. But that's my discussion, guys. That's my take on it. I think it's wonderful to have great confidence in yourself as an artist. It's a must. It's a must. And, you know, keeping things positive, keeping things going, and doing your own thing is probably the best way to show those naysayers that you're in it for the right reasons and you stand behind your own work. And that will also be noticed by, you know, prototype kit creators out there, right? Those artists will take notice. And especially if you are known for having a, you know, rise above it attitude and you just, you know, keep in it for the right reasons, you'll be noticed. Your work will speak for itself. It doesn't even take you having to, you know, even boast about your work. People will notice it without you saying a word. And that, my friends, is truly the best way to get yourself success and noticed and, you know, that accreditation. That's what I think. So anyways, here is Monroe. She's wearing this really cute sleeper by Next. It's an oldie but goodie. Some of my favorites are from Next from forever ago. They have little pixies on them, and I love the whimsical design on it. Some of you may have seen this on her before. But yeah, so that's my take on it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my chat. I hope it's okay that I kind of, you know, took the live stream topic and kind of put my own spin on it and kind of shared my thoughts on it. And yeah, I think we all need to continue, especially after the year and a half we've all had. Like, let's face it, we could use a little positivity in our world. You know, it's been a rough time the last year and a half. I think we all should cut ourselves a bit of slack and be a little kinder to one another, and the world would be a happier place, just saying. But anyways, I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the chat. I'd love to hear your feedback, and if those are out there that do know how to get accredited, please share that information in the comments below, because I'd really like to be able to share that with the artists that are looking to get accredited by these specific organizations, guilds, all of that. So thanks again for always being supportive, guys, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.